perception. All right, let's talk about perception. Now, perception is how we view the world. And everybody views the world differently based on our past experiences, based on our age, based on our race, based on our religion, based on our ethnicity, based on our families, based on things we like, whether we like sci-fi, gaming, or a sport that involves a ball, which is my preference. But we see the world differently, and how we've been treated throughout our lives too is how we see the world. So in the textbook, I've written down there a lot of the theoretical parts to it, but let's get to a practical sense on perception. And I want to just bring this up because I think it's important that to set a speech and to set a central idea or set an idea and communicate with somebody, we have to kind of understand the audience. We have to understand other people on exactly what they're viewing when they're watching you. All right, so we think of things different. We have different attitudes and that type of thing. Let's say, for instance, when we look at the world, we have perception, and then we have reality. All right, you've heard people say perception is reality. Well, that might be true, but I think perception is how you view the world, and reality is reality there. So we have a hard time finding the difference between the two. So here's what we do. So let's say that we have perception up here and reality is over here. We have a couple of options, actually 3 options. We can change our perception to match reality, or we can change reality to match our perception. And then once we do that, what happens is we become in harmony. When we're different, so when we have perception here, we have reality here, what happens is we become a thing called cognitive dissonance. Now, in cognitive dissonance, that makes us uneasy. It makes us unhappy. So we get anxious. You know, this is where anxiety comes from. And so when we have this, we've got to do something. We've got to change our perception, or we've got to change reality. There's a third option too. We can numb ourselves with alcohol or drugs, but that's not the best option at all. Let me give you an example. Let's say I look at myself in the mirror and I say, boy, you know what? I need to lose some weight. So my perception of the perfect weight would be here, but the reality of my weight is here. So I have 2 choices. I can say, well, you know what? I really don't look so bad. I think I'm fine. And then I can change my perception. I get back in harmony and I feel good about myself. Otherwise, I'm constantly dieting and complaining. And somebody says, hey, you look good. And I go, yeah, I do look good, but I could lose some weight and I'd probably be better. No, you don't want to do anything like that. So you can change your perception there. All right. Now, the other thing I could do is I could change reality. I could go on a diet and exercise, and then I could move my reality up to where perception is. All right. Or again, I could just be miserable all the time and comfort myself with food, like I've been known to do. And then what happens is this cognitive dissonance gets worse and worse, and then I become more unhappy, become depressed, become lazy. All these just snowballs. What we want to do is look at the world, see reality, and then see where we are, how we perceive where we should be, and then we move to it. Okay, once you get in harmony, though, that's not a good thing either, because then you don't do anything. So this is how people motivate themselves, by the way, and this is how people are motivated to do things. So you talk about motivated speaker if you want to be one, or you talk about seeing a motivated speaker. That's all they're doing, is they're showing you what reality is, and they're showing you what perception, what could be. So if you look at what could be, so when you get in harmony, say you work to your ideal weight or something, you bring up your reality to what your perception is. But in order to keep moving and keep growing, you've got to throw yourself out of harmony again, and you've got to set a goal that you don't have, that you haven't reached. And you got to say, oh, my perception up here of health or something else or success would be up higher. So then you change reality up to there, and you keep moving forward as you go on. So that's what perception is in our lives. Now in the book I describe it a little bit differently. I use the actual academic with schemata theory, and in schemata theory we have 3 parts, which is selecting information, organizing information, and interpreting information. But just how it works with us, though, this is what drives our lives and stuff. So if you find yourself being depressed or you're being not feeling blue or something like that, do a reality check or a perception check, one or the other. So look at the world and look at yourself and see how you are and identify how you want to be. Then you have a choice. You can change your perception, you'll be in harmony. You can change reality, and you'll be in harmony. Don't do drugs or alcohol.